Hello everyone. Today's class is about yes no questions. Responding to yes and no questions. We can use yes or no, or sometimes we can add more information. No need to answer by using yes or no, because there is answers we give and it means yes or no. We sometimes respond using the auxiliary verb from the question instead of yes or no. Let's see some examples. The first example, can I grow potatoes in a pot? Yes. So here we respond using only the word yes. Yes, they grow really well in pots. Here we respond using extra information. The extra information is they grow really well in pots. The second example, will you be going to Aaron's party? No, I am actually going to be away on Friday night. This also here we use it extra information. Here we give the reason. I'm actually going to be away on Friday night. Sometimes we use, as I said, we use answer like it means yes or no. Like it's not necessary to respond using only yes or no. We can use sentences that expresses about yes or no. Let's see the first example. Do you know Henry? We have known each other for years. We went to the same school, meaning yes. This means that yes, I know him. Do you know the Evans latest album? I'm afraid we have just told the last one. So here it means no. Sometimes we respond using the auxiliary verb. If the question starts with auxiliary verb, so we must respond using the auxiliary verb. Like hi John, did you go fishing today? I did. I went with the boys. Has Kamar had breakfast? He hasn't. He is still in bed. So here we use the auxiliary, respond using the auxiliary verb has, and here we use the auxiliary verb did. So sometimes we use negative yes no questions. Why we call it negative yes no question? Because we start with the question using negative NT, the abbreviation NT or not. Okay, so we use negative yes no questions to confirm something we believe or expect to be the case, or sometimes when we consider something is the best thing to do. For example, isn't that John's car? This means that I am sure that it is correct and the car is for John, but I am asking for confirmation. Shouldn't we be leaving? I think that we should leave now. Okay, so it's good to use also negative yes no questions. So now how we form the negative yes no questions with not, or I can say we form negative yes no questions with not. I can say that we form negative yes no question with not. We usually use the contraction and apostrophe t, because in case you want to use not and ot, okay, this expresses that it sounds formal, very formal. Okay, the question sounds very formal. Let's say some examples. Let's see some examples. Isn't that the oldest building in that street? This is one of the examples. isn't. You see that we use it the contraction and apostrophe T, because in case we use it not, okay, not is not that always, it will be more formal or very formal. So we use the contraction. We also can use negative yes/no question to make invitation, offers, and complaints stronger. Let's see some examples. Won't you stay for dinner? This means as I am inviting you to stay for dinner. Okay, so here we use it the negative yes/no question to for invitation, to make invitation. The second example, wouldn't you like another coffee? Wouldn't you like another coffee? This means express an offer, as I am making an offer. So the third example, can the manager do something about the noise? Can the manager do something about the noise? This is like a complaint. So there's so noise, and I am asking that the manager must do something about the noise. Can the manager do something about the noise? So how we frame a question? Here we have to explain about framing questions. It is sure that if you want to form any question, you must use a question word or auxiliary. Auxiliary, it means helping word at the beginning of a sentence. Like, when are you leaving? We cannot say you leaving alone. We have to say to put the question word. When are you leaving? Why are they so late? Are you willing to go? Here we use it the auxiliary verb. Here we use it the question words. So students, here we have the form that will help you to form a question, like a question, to form questions. Like, first we use the question word when, then we use the auxiliary verb are, or any auxiliary verbs. Like we have many auxiliary verbs like like you, are, are, is, do, does, have, has, and then the subject. So question word, auxiliary verb, and subject. Like, when are you? When is she, for example? Then sometimes we can use the auxiliary verb as a question word. Then we use the subject, then the verb. Okay? So here we can remove the question word sometimes. Sometimes we can use the question word, then auxiliary verb, then subject. And sometimes we can use the auxiliary verb as a question, then we put the subject, then the verb, the main verb. So here, are you willing? For example, are you willing to go? Okay, so here we use it the auxiliary verb are. Also, we have do or does. In case there is no auxiliary verb in the verb or in the sentence or in the verb, so we use auxiliary do. Like, we put does, then the subject, then verb in its first form. Whenever you use do or does, okay, you must put the verb in its first form. In its first form, it means you mustn't put s at the end of the verb, and you mustn't put d or ed or ing, okay, when you use the auxiliary verbs does and did as a question. Like, does she leave today? Did he hear you? Here we didn't use s or any additional, like we left the verb in its first form. Now let's know about the question tags or tag questions. Certain questions are contracted in form and used at the end of the statement to form questions. Okay, so we use it to say that, okay, when we want to form a question, we must to put the question at the beginning of the sentence. But here there's another case. This case is that we put the question at the end of the sentence. Such contracted forms are called question. We call it question tags or tag questions, like aren't they? Isn't it? Let's see some examples. Now I want to explain to you how can we form the tag questions. It is very simple and easy way. By borrowing the verb of the main statement. Okay? So here we have they have come. So here we borrow the verb. Here is the verb, here is subject, and here is verb. We borrow the verb and put it here at the end of the sentence, and then we put the subject. Okay, like they have come, haven't they do know, don't they see. We borrow it the verb and put it here, but here we notice that why we didn't put the verb in as it is, like here it is negative. This is how we form a question tag. If it was the verb positive, we must transform it into negative. Okay, let's see here. When the main statement is a positive, the tag question is negative and vice versa. Like you are coming, aren't you? Here the auxiliary verb is positive, so here we put it in negative form. You are not coming, are you? So this is the way we use the question tags. So we can say here also that question tag always has a pronoun as it is subject. Okay, it always has a pronoun as it is subject, like isn't she, aren't they, don't you, isn't it. So we cannot say isn't they because they didn't take the auxiliary verb is, it takes are. So this is what I mean by they always has a pronoun as it is subject. Don't you, isn't it. I cannot say isn't they, it's false, isn't it, isn't she, isn't he, it's okay this. So sentences starting with I, the tag is aren't I. Okay, here we have one case like I am old. I cannot say meant I, it is false. We cannot say meant I or not I. No, I can say aren't I. So it's very important to know that I, we change it into are in the question tag. Okay, or sorry, we change it into are in the question tag. Okay, tag. We use it to refer to nothing. Okay, and they to refer to nobody, somebody, and everybody. For example, if you want to say nothing can happen, can it? Here we didn't change can to the negative form because it is here we have nothing, negative sentence. So we leave it positive. Somebody wanted a drink, didn't they? Here somebody takes the They takes they, so we put instead of somebody they at the when we want to form the question tag, and here we put didn't. So sometimes we think, where didn't come from? Okay, where this word comes from? Here we said that in forming a question tag we must borrow from the verb. So here we have the verb wanted. Wanted is in the past tense, and the past tense takes did, but because it is negative we change it into negative, because this is the rule in the question tag. Nobody phoned, did they? Also phoned, it's a past tense, so we have to put in our mind what's the auxiliary verb that the past tense take. So we can say that it is did. So here it is. The sentence is negative. You see, it is negative. Nobody. So we let the auxiliary verb in it is positive form. Like nobody phoned. Did they? Did they? Negative terms like little, few, hardly, scarcely, and seldom take up a positive tags. Like few students come here. Do they? See here. Because we use few, so we didn't change the question tag, the auxiliary verb in the question tag to the negative, as I have said before, because here we have the word few. So negative terms like few, little, hardly, scarcely, and seldom take up positive tags. Like the last example here, it is negative term, nobody, nothing. So we didn't change the verb. So here we have a few students come here. Do they? Here we use it do because we borrowed it from come, from the verb come. Okay, come is in the present form. Okay, and the present form talks the do or does. So here we use do because students they, and they take, students takes the subject they, and they takes do. Okay, it's very important to know this. Scarcely did he visit his place. Scarcely also is a term that expresses about negative, so or it is negative term. So we leave the question tag in positive form, like did he, because here we have the subject. Scarcely did he visit his place. Did he? A few, a little are positive tags, and so take up negative tags. Here we have the adverb only. Only can take either a positive or a negative tag. For example, only you have come. Have you? Or haven't you? Okay, so you can use any question tag, whether it was positive or it was negative. After an order or a request, the tag will you, or can you, or could you, can't you, can be used. So you can use will you, can you, could you, can't you if after an order or a request, like pass me the salt. Can you? It is a request or order. Close the door. Here it is a request. Pass me the salt. So we can use can you or will you or could you, anything you want. Close the door. Here it's order. Can you? So after negative, here we have to say that after negative verb form in a letter or complaint to the editor, we use will you. For example, here we have negative verb. Don't forget. So we use will you. Don't forget. Will you? After let's and shall we, or here I can say that after let's shall we is used. So if the word start the sentence using let's solve the problem, we say shall we. Okay. Whenever you use let's solve the problem, shall we? Shall we? Because we use it let's. Okay. And after don't, we use will you. Okay. So if you start the sentence using don't, you must put question tag using will you. Like, don't underestimate him. Will you? So here we end our topic for today, which speaks about yes no questions. We spoke how we form questions and question tags, and it was a very important topic. I hope that you listened carefully. Please, any question, ask me without hesitation. Thank you so much.